Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. That's great, that's great. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you to this full council meeting. And, yes, let's commence. It's over here. Hello, can you hear me? Maybe working on hard. Hello?
And we did it. We did it. Richard. There's nothing happening. It's dead. It's good as dead. As long as it doesn't blow up, I don't.
Just talk. Your voice.
Oh, carry it.
No, it's cable. Yeah.
So now, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody,
Yes.
and welcome to the full council meeting. First of all, I'd like to say big thanks to all of you, but at the same time, it's a bittersweet moment for all of us. I'd like to pay tribute to one of our colleagues here, Steve. Steve just passed away. Mr. Steve Hall just passed away. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to remember Steve Hall, a valued member of staff who sadly died on Sunday. He looked after the IT for nearly 20 years and most importantly, oversaw new projects. Also, 2 weeks ago, former member of staff and town clerk Paul Welch died following a fall. Paul worked for the town council for 30 years, during which time he was awarded an MP for saving Elm Street Studios. There will be a 1-minute silence, and I will ask if anyone can stand, please. Thanks, please have a seat. Okay. First on the agenda is apologies. Receiving an apology for non-attendance. Is there any apology? Please, can it be noted? Do we have any declaration of interest? We would like to receive declaration of interest from councilors on items on the agenda. Yeah, Councilor Lumar.
Yeah, in relation to the neighbourhood plan, I'd like to declare an other registered interest as leader of Hertsmere Borough Council, which is the local planning authority.
Thanks. Can you have a look at good. Do we have any, did we receive any written request for dispensation for declaration of interest and also for other grant and requests for dispensation as appropriate. Is there any?
No written request.
Thanks. Then we'll come to a big moment for me as a mayor. I would like to welcome our chaplain, Reverend Rachel Waite. She is the Baptist Reverend. She's a Reverend at the Baptist Church just down the road. Reverend Rachel, Reverend Waite, welcome to you and your husband. And I would like for you to say a few things to introduce yourself to this honorable body.
So, good evening, everybody. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Deputy Mayor, Town Council. So my name is Reverend Rachel Waite, known as Pastor Rachel, to my congregation at Bournemouth Baptist Church, which is situated on Firs Hill Road. The Mayor's invited me to introduce myself, say a bit about my ministry and a little about my role of Elstree and Bournemouth's first faith and community chaplain, a role that I was honoured to accept. I'm a relatively new resident of Elstree and Bournemouth. I live next door to the church that I serve, and I moved here in July 2023 with my husband and 2 children to take up my role as minister at the Baptist Church. Previously, I was a minister in a large church in Streatham, South London, where I lived for over 20 years. I am really enjoying living, working and serving in a town outside of London with its own distinctive heritage and identity, and I've spent much of the last year meeting people and listening to their stories of the village. Bournemouth Baptist Church is a Christian community of faith, and there's been a Baptist presence in Bournemouth since 1886, with our first building being opposite the train station. Our current building, which includes a church and halls, was built in 1965, and around 60 people worship with us each Sunday, from many diverse backgrounds, including children and young people and young adults. As well as Sunday worship and supporting one another in our faith through the week, we serve the community by running a youth group called Illuminate on a Friday night and a monthly group for older people called Backbox. We also provide space for other work which benefits the wider community. Part of our buildings are linked to the Colangel Preschool, and our community halls are used for 12-step recovery groups and our community, as well as other hires and many birthday celebrations. We have also partnered this year with Gratitude and in their provision of a Santa's Grotto and the Easter egg hunt and party. But what's of my role as the faith and community chaplain? I think in seeking to nominate to have a Mayor's Faith and Community Chaplain, Mayor Collins has recognised something important about civic life here in Elstree and Bournemouth and beyond. It will not surprise you, I hope, to hear that as a woman of faith, I believe that there's more to life than just our material needs. To flourish as human beings, we need many things. We need to live in places which are safe, where we can build connection and relationships with others, where we can learn, grow, where we can provide for ourselves financially. There is also a spiritual side to the human experience. This new role recognises that reality and the opportunity that the Town Council has to acknowledge and support activities within our town which promote this holistic view of human flourishing. As a Christian, I have a particular view about how that flourishing is fully realised through a life lived out following the teachings of Jesus Christ. However, in my time living here in Elstree and Bournemouth, I've become very aware of how many people of different faiths express their beliefs and practices in our town. I've been particularly struck by how many of those involved in our civic life, many of you, are people of faith and motivated by that faith to serve our local community. The vibrancy, diversity and freedom of our faith communities is a precious and delicate thing. We have seen this at times painfully in the last year, especially since the appalling events in Israel on the 7th of October and the subsequent war in Gaza. I want to live in a town where all feel safe and and valued in their expression of their religious belief and practice. Very Baptist principle for those of you interested in church history. So how will my role support this? Well, I will help to organise and preside at 2 civic events which have particular faith focus, the service of remembrance and the War Memorial in November, and perhaps the Town Civic Festival service in June. I also support the Mayor in other events which celebrate and support our diversity and the activities of our faith community, such as Mitzvah Day. Through these events, I look forward to meeting and working with other faith leaders in the town, and my own faith community and myself will continue to pray for the flourishing of Elstree and Bournemouth. Finally, a chaplain is one who listens and responds. And while in many ways my role is civic and limited, I wish to express my care and concern for you as you lead the community on the town council and indeed work for it. I am your chaplain. I'm concerned for your flourishing too, and I'll be more than willing to be a listening ear and a place to reflect for any of you in the coming year, especially when the inevitable challenges of leadership arise. So thank you for this opportunity to serve our town, and I look forward to working with you.
Thanks so much, Revelation. We appreciate you and we welcome you. Let's move on to the agenda. Let's go to item number 4, and that is delegated powers. To authorize the deputy clerk to act as interim clerk with all responsibilities and powers associated with the role of clerk in the absence of the clerk. Yes, this is. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm happy to support this, but can we please put a limit of 6 months so this does not change the terms of reference?
Is there anyone that wants to add his or her voice? I think I know councillors, marketers. Yeah, please.
I totally agree with this, of course, but I really think our deputy clerk should be congratulated on the enormous amount of work she's put in. Unexpectedly, she got landed with a very unfortunate situation, and I know you will all join me in thanking her on behalf of the town.
That is well. Yes, of course. I would like to say that Mrs. Martel has really done a great piece of work. Yeah, so I think with regards to the motion that Councillor Butler has put out, I think we will go for a vote. Who are in favor of? Yeah, we're voting for it. And who are against? It's unanimous. So congrats.
Don't worry. You haven't done it. Yeah, it's done.
Okay, let's move on. Let's come over to the minutes. We approve and adopt the minutes of the extraordinary full council meeting, which was held on the 25th of July. Great. Agree? We come to item number 6 on the agenda. That is the schedule or approved meeting scheduled for 2026. Oh, 2025. I'm running fast. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, I think possibly part of that, part of your slip there could have been down to the typo that is on there, that does say 26, that should say 25. So I think that could just be amended, please, for December.
Yeah, thanks so much. At least I have somebody. Okay, then we move forward to the sign minutes. To note the sign minutes of the committee meeting to form part of the official council minute book as agreed by full council to be reviewed by members on town council website in place of hard copy. We have entertainment committee, and then we have the environment and planning committee. Yeah. Great. Agreed? Yeah. Item number 8 on the agenda is for the accounts for payment. To confirm the payment of accounts as approved as follows. We have the vouchers 2024 or 25 in the amount. Yeah, I think they're all, I think you should have the certain in your presence. You have copies. Yeah. Yeah, please look through and then see whatsoever.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
Yeah, great. It was great. So it should be noted that the voucher numbers from 176 are waiting counter signature by the responsible finance officer. Is it agreed?
Yeah.
Great. Very good. Let's move on to the neighborhood plan. That is item number 9 on the agenda. We need to receive update on neighborhood plan and consider progression steps to completion. Is there any? On the neighborhood plan?
Yes.
I can give a brief update unless Chair of the ENP would like to, but I'm happy to. So the status of the neighbourhood plan at the moment is, I believe, Clive and Alison reported at the last full council meeting. The plan is almost ready to go over the first hurdle. However, we are awaiting some feedback from councillors with regards to smaller green spaces within the town. There was a previous listed description of those spaces for the councillors to look over with their ward and to complete the documentation. However, I think the format has probably caused a little confusion. So having spoken to Alison yesterday, what she's going to do is to post those onto a map for us, so that each of the councillors can look over their own ward rather than trying to work out names of places and things like that. We're on a bit of a tight time scale because there needs to be a feeding in period and then a 6-week public consultation. If that runs over Christmas and the shutdown, it needs to move to 8 weeks. So we can either, option 1, because it's evidence as opposed to content of the plan, we can make a proposal to move on now on the condition that all the councillors put out their templates and get them back to me within the next week. Or we can postpone it, but in order to get it through before the end of the year, we'd need an extraordinary meeting in about the next 10 days. So we're still going to have to do work within a week, but we'll just be agreeing it in 10 days' time instead of now. So there are the two options. For those who were at the last meeting, it's policy B15. Originally, what was asked was the councillors to go out and to make a note of their green spaces. However, the volunteers have been out and done that anyway, so it's now just ratifying their decisions because they may not know your wards as well as you do. So they want the local knowledge from the councillors on their own particular area.
Well, thanks for Madam Clerk for filling us with the detail. Let's move on to we need to receive as written by the mayor and leader. Yeah, Councilor Carter, what do you?
I don't have a copy of this. Your mayor and the group leader not attached to this. What they are saying is not here. But only 2 things. I hope the neighborhood plan takes into account the revised thinking of the new central government administration. A lot of things have changed from the previous government in terms of green belt, government green belt. That should neighborhood plan should take that into account. But when I go around parks and see the previous government today administration didn't want anything to be constructed here. Maybe the present government wants things. There are in green spaces within constituent in the neighborhood plan. At the same time, we should also see that what we develop here should be in line with what HBC is seeking, the local plan. The local plan deals spaces between towns and cities and all that, you know. But it should not conflict. Like we should not say that we build 20,000 houses and the total is actually 10,000. You know, for the whole heartland. So these things, if there is no conflict, for good order, we send a copy of this to HBC and get their confirmation, because ultimately all applications in Ashland go to the planning department there. They send it to us.
Yeah, that's a given. That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Numa.
So just on that final point, HPC have been provided a copy of the plan. They commented on it precisely with that in mind to make sure that the local plan is aligned to the neighbourhood plan. So those comments should have been addressed now in the latest round. That's my understanding that the comments have been addressed. As far as the council officers are concerned, HPC our two plans are aligned.
Yeah, Councillor Numa.
Yeah, just to clarify in terms of Councillor Carter's comments, so there might be a misunderstanding about the role and scope of a neighbourhood plan. There is a hierarchy of planning weights with the NPPF, the National Planning Policy Framework, effectively sitting at the top of that. The local plan that's produced by the local planning authority coming in at second tier. It can't really supersede the NPPF. And then the neighbourhood plan has to sit, if you like, at the lower part of that pyramid, and it can't get involved in seeking to, or doesn't have the authority to amend or supersede NPPF or local plan policies. So it can't form a closed Borderwood and Elstree enclave in which rules around green belt, grey belt, housing targets or standard methodologies or any of that can be done differently. What it can do most significantly is achieve planning weight in the key decisions. So yeah, maybe some borderline green belt applications where very special circumstances come into play. It can define the importance of certain features of neighbourhoods. It can lock in design codes and so on. And really, I think certainly the last draft of the neighbourhood plan, I saw did a really good job in focusing on those items that it can achieve. But I think we also need to be really clear in our communications about what it can't do, because if we do seek to do that, it will be projected either at our council consultation or inspection stage. And the final point on this is obviously once it's been out to consultation and approved at borough level and all of the other statutory consultees, it has to go out to public referendum. And I wanted to really make it clear that these referenda have a cost and they are quite expensive, that we look to align that and make sure that we are ready to go out to a referendum on the same date as the May 25 county council elections, which I think should give us plenty of time to go through the various consultation and approval processes and create an absolute final deadline. It's been running for a few years now as a process, so I think that it should be completely realistic to get it out to referendum next May, to tell the public that's what we intend to do without further delay and ensure that we have a hard deadline for completion of the process.
Thanks, Councillor Numa. Does anyone want to add his or her voice with regard to what has been said? Maybe it relates to the wording, the kind of wording that we put forth to make sure that this plan cannot be rejected, because we are a body that bring some form of development within our area.
Yeah, sorry, thanks, Mr. Mayor. My understanding is there's two options here, and I think we just need to decide which two options we need to go with. My preference is option one. We need to move forward, and if we can just have the map diagram sent out to council so we can have that commented, if we can pass those comments on within that time frame, we can move forward. Otherwise, we're just going to be stuck in one year, and it won't be dealt with until after December. So.
Well, Councilor Newmark has already said something, and also Councilor Butler and Councilor Casa. So, with regard, we have two options here. Which one should we opt for? Do we have to go for a vote or something like that?
So the motion will be to approve it now, pending the councillor's submissions, or to approve it at the next drawing meeting. That's you, so option one is to approve now, or option two is to approve at another meeting in so if you want to put that motion.
Yeah. Okay, the clerk has advised me with regards to the two options. Either to approve it now or approve it later within the next week. So, which one do we go for?
I second Councillor Butler's proposal that we approve conditionally without the need for extraordinary meeting, which is option one.
Do you want to say something about Councillor? Every council. Okay. I think we can go for a vote now. Who is in favor of option one? Okay. Yeah, it's going to be fast. Okay.
We should be asked who's against or they can be long.
I do apologize. You have to recognize. So, who all is against? You have to abstain. Okay.
Abstain.
Abstention? Okay.
I don't know where it's going.
Okay. We'll move over to item number 10 on the agenda, that is Elstree Boardroom Film and okay, we go to item number 9, the second item number 9, that is to receive forward as written by the mayor and the leader of the council. There was something that was written by Councilman Alexander.
Yeah, so that has been submitted from myself and from the mayor, written off forward. When the introduction does contribute to the plan really can help what it is, where it's the whole framework of the planning process. Saying it's a residents, let planning listen to residents, working on the listening to that, what you can do what referendum process.
Will you please do this? Okay, we'll move over to item number 10 on the agenda, that is Elstree and Bournemouth Film and TV, CIC, to receive update from CIC board members. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll report on behalf of Councillor Smith and the Town Clerk, who are my two fellow board members. As members will recall, Council agreed to establish a community interest company in order to pursue both the saving of the Real Cinema in Boreham Wood and other potential film, TV, heritage and culture, creative industry related projects. The CIC was formally incorporated after quite extended legal process, with thanks to our interim clerk, Gillian, for massive amount of work to and fro with these solicitors on getting this done. So it's legally constituted. It's a standard community interest company, which for those of you who are not familiar is a new form of relatively new form of company structure that is effectively one in which the profits are ploughed back into the company. So it's a what perhaps used to be called a non-profit generating organisation, and it includes integrally a lock-in clause, so that if the company is ever closed down, all of the funds that it's holding revert to a designated body. In the case of the Elstree Board from the CIC, the designated body is the Town Council. The Town Council is effectively the owner of the company, with 2/3 of the seats and the votes on the board, and in that sense it's a subsidiary of the Town Council, but has the benefits through its Articles of Association, now being approved by the CIC Registrar, that being able to act in a more commercial manner without some of the bureaucratic constraints of local government institutions. The main project that CIC is currently involved in is the Real Cinema. As people are aware, a deal was struck involving the Town Council, the Borough Council and Real Cinemas to save the cinema at its current location for the next 3 years. As part of that deal, the public areas, the sort of entrance areas to the cinema, the cafe and so on, will be fully refurbished, and a film and TV exhibit will be constructed as part of the entrance lobby. One of the screens, screen 3, is being refurbished and refreshed, and will also become available to the Town Council for a number of occasions over the course of the year to hold meetings, public events, activities and entertainment at. The project itself, in terms of building work and so on, has been led by a project board comprising representatives from Real, Realm Construction Company, members of the Borough Council's professional asset property team, and Councillor Zaro has represented the Town Council on the project board. Pleased to say that everything is running on time and on budget, which is relatively unique for a local government project. And the tentative relaunch date for the cinema will coincide with the Christmas lights switch on the 1st of December. In addition to the Real Cinema project, the CIC is exploring options around the possibility of creating a film and TV heritage centre in the town. It's quite poignant that we're talking about this at the same meeting which we pay tribute to the late Paul Welsh. People will know this was really one of his sort of pet projects to see happen. We've had some initial exploratory work done through the Herts Screen Office, who have costed out a project that would be located on a central Boreham Wood location in the region of £3 million. Obviously, that's well beyond anything that this Town Council or a public body can afford. So the role that the CIC is hoping to play is one of a catalyst and convener, effectively a fundraiser. So we're in the process of finalising quite a detailed bid to the Borough Council for 50% of that sum, 1.5 billion, and talking to the Local Enterprise Partnership, Partnership Futures, the university, and a number of other interested parties, including the other sort of studio companies in the town, in fact in the borough. A couple of them aren't in Boreham Wood, with a view to seeing if we can raise that significant sum and bring that project to light. So those are the sort of two well, the one live project, the one potential project, and the governance and structural issues around the CIC. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're most welcome. Yes, does anyone have any questions to ask Councilor Newmark? He has given us some information about the CIC. Yes, Councilor Kazan.
There was one independent consultant. There's a progress in the appointment already reported. The independent consultant we are supposed to appoint about the future of West Street.
Well, there is an independent consultant looking
But
at the future, but that's nothing to do with the CIC or the Town Council. Street Film Studios is wholly owned subsidiary of the Borough Council, so in your role as a Borough Council, that's where you need to be asking regular update on that matter. But yes, you're correct, there is one.
Well, thanks so much for being very informative. We'll move over to item number 11 on the agenda. That is, we have to consider the following community grant application. The first one is Gulf Street and Broadwood Unity Network. I think all of you will have the paperwork in your presence.
Yes, so thank you very much for sending over the paperwork and documentation for this grant application. Speaking on behalf of Barbara, we've looked at it in quite some detail. I think what we would say is we definitely support the principle of diversity and that being celebrated across our school. We're doing some great work and great entertainment and I was at the last one last year. I think it was a really good event to be there and felt a sense of community. So yeah, we definitely support the concept of it. It's some of the detail I think we've put some questions through to be sent over to the organisers. And it's really just about tightening up the finances. There were some anomalies which we spotted in the way the finances were set out, some rows not quite adding up, one or two typos, some questions around the size of some of the expenses. So, in summary, yes, we're definitely supportive of it, and I think we want to put in place a certain number of conditions to ensure that some of the finances are tightening up going forward.
Thanks, also. So, in other words, it's somewhat conditional.
But that's what I would always have to go to a vote, but that would be my proposal.
Thanks, also. Does anyone want to ask our board? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Having been to the last number of these festivals, for want of a better word, they do an enormous amount of work of bringing people together. And that's what we're all about, isn't it? So I really think we should support this to the best of our ability.
Thanks, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Kazan.
I appreciate this concept of diversity festivals, no problem. The town itself is holding one. That's all you know. The town council is also holding a diversity festival for its own. And this taxpayers' money, I think we should spend for the benefit of residents of the STL Mall. Majority of the people that I've seen, of course, I haven't seen the video, I'm not being there the last Alam Hall diversity network, are people from outside Boramwood and Red Street. I think we should spend the money that is given to us for the benefit of residents of STL Mall. That's a general thought.
Thanks so much, Councillor Kazan. What we can do in order for us to move forward, I think we will go for a vote because Councillor Alexander, he says there should be some condition, some safeguard put in place. And Councillor Kazan is saying another thing with regards to seeing people, a lot of folks, we are having a whole program that is going to be up with regards to diversity. And also Councillor Turner, she says that she's out for us to give that support Councillor Alexander, also he wants also give that support. But at the same time, there should be some conditions. So I think we need to go for some vote and see what we will accomplish. Yeah, Councillor Lumar.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think that you'll find if we want to enact a conditional approval, we actually need to set out what those conditions are. I think the clerk might be able to advise us to whether or not that's the case, but somebody needs to propose what the conditions are, otherwise it will be a decision that's impossible to implement.
It'll be held in a skelter.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you need to know what sort of conditions you're talking about.
That's what.
I'm somewhat confused.
Can I just help you? That's very brilliant, Mr. Mayor. Just to help. I don't know if you've actually looked at the financial papers for
Yes.
Safe Technology, but like Councillor Alexander said earlier, there's discrepancies in this. We picked holes in it the other day when our group sat down to go through this paper. It's not that we're against the project, we're fully in support of the project, but we're not comfortable with the way finances are displayed and presented to the council. At the end of the day, we're custodians of this public purse here when we're handing out money. It might only be a few £1,000, but a few £1,000 to a lot of people in Melton and Bournemouth is lots of money. And so we need to make sure that when we're allocating that money, it's safeguarded for the residents that are taxpayers to this authority. So when we're looking at this and we're picking out discrepancies, we need to make sure that there are none. And if they're making sure that this money is spent wisely and correctly for the benefit of Melton and Bournemouth taxpayers and this authority. So again, we're not against it, but the conditions need to be quite strong in terms of we want to make sure these are balanced and correctly spent in the way that the council feels fit. Thank you.
Just a procedural question. When we lay out conditions, I think there should be some conditions to, as Councillor Butt said, to ensure the integrity of the taxpayer funds that we're spending on this project that I support. That's the right report. Would we then need to delegate authority to Deputy Clerk to make a judgment as to whether those conditions are good?
Thanks so much. Yes, Councillor Alexander. Would you be willing to work on the conditions that we think about? Maybe there are some discrepancies that Councillor Butler has pointed out.
Yeah, I'm very happy to set out those conditions.
I was going to make a general point that as part of the application, we retain the right to review how the money was spent once it's been issued, and if it's not spent in the style it was issued for, we do have a right to reclaim those funds. So we do already have some element of protection built in there that if we were to, or if you were to approve the funds, it was to be spent in a way that was not in the running of the Diversity Festival, we would have a case to claim the money back anyway.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councillor.
can I remind everyone we're running out of time because it's in October, the festival.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's not a factor, but at the same time, like what has been brought to our attention is all about protecting the public funds.
Absolutely, of course, but can be a combination of stage and protection.
Yes, Madam Clerk, so that will be.
Yes, so it's standard practice that any grants that we issue through whichever mechanism that we do, that we then follow up to make sure that that money has been spent for its intended purpose. So we wouldn't need to list that as an additional condition, it's a standard condition. If, however, you have additional levels on there that you wanted to do, then we can consider.
Okay, so thank you very much for that clarification. So the conditions that we're putting forward, and thank you, Councillor Newmark, for getting the work around this. The condition one, the grant application is approved subject to condition one, the RFO of the council in consultation with the in-house audit panel validating the financial information provided by the applicant in accordance with the standards required by the external auditors. Condition two, receipt of a schedule from the trustee of any related party transactions. And condition three, Total grant amounts to be reduced by any surplus generated from the event.
Thanks so much, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Kaza.
I don't want to be seen as an obstructionist. I want to diversity. I've held programs like this for 4 years of my life. At least about 50 of them in different parts of the city and outside, Birmingham and all that. As the president of another association. So fully aware of what goes on in and out of such programs. So I thought I'd do this, since a lot of discussion went on today, thought we would do a bit of research on this. The Adanta group, for example, this, which is doing maximum, always in somebody gives you a list like this, look at where the highest amount of money is going, 1,100 pounds. That's a group, entertainment group of African countries. I mean, what the residents in, that means this group, the Unity Network, is trying to engage people in one group, which is a totally different perspective from connecting people, coming from diverse backgrounds in one group. For if you pursue entertainment groups coming and performing here, to whom we are paying 1,100 pounds. And the Soul Jam, another 850 pounds, 2,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds going for people outside Burumur itself. They are coming and entertaining us. That is, if you go and pay and watch as a spectator. My sole objection, first objection remains, maybe I'm probably like a tourist, but town council is not like London Media Assembly, which can spend millions on the large event, square and all that. You're a small group, the small budget of a discretionary budget like I talked about. The slides are before. Hardly 200 to 50,000 pounds. Obviously, if you give them money like this, which is not going to the benefit of the residents, resident taxpayers, like I said, I think we should think twice about these things.
So, what would be a proposed solution?
The proposal is no.
Well,
This is a good guy moving along. Through you, I'd like to support Councillor Alexander with his leaders' recommendations, put those into effect, and I'm very happy to support this application.
Thanks, Councillor. Do we have to go for a vote for this? Okay.
You mean it can't be deferred? It can't be deferred, you can later on. Like if it had conducted events like this before.
Councillor, the clerk has given us, she has acknowledged the fact that there is a safeguard with regards to if fund is being delivered to a certain group of folks, and if they go about and they do not carry out what is expected of them, we can reclaim what's access to the money back. That's what the clerk, she advised us on this issue. Please, the both of you, please, can we? Yeah, please. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so there's a safeguard with regards to disseminating the fund. And if this fund is given and if it is not done properly, you can always ask for that fund. But notwithstanding, we will go for a vote and see who more is in.
This one, I know that we're spending enough money on 1,000 pounds, but we're making payment to a business independent company registered as a charity.
Well, we are heard when you said. So, please. Yeah, Madam Clerk, I think we need to go for a vote. Yeah, right. Yeah. We're going for a vote with regards to what Councilor Alexander has proposed. Who are in favor? Those against?
Abstain.
Okay. Those abstain? Who all has abstained? Okay. Please no. Yeah, thanks also. I think we have here the general application of this considered by General Management Committee, which is attached over to the date of the Diversity Festival being before the next scheduled GMC meeting. This application will be considered by full council. And we move over to number 2 now. Let's see a Warrenwood Film and TIC. Yeah, please do what please, Madam Clerk.
This is just a point for the, excuse me, for the minute. So the minutes reference for the 23-24 full council, item number 74. It was discussed and agreed for £6,000 per year for 3 years. It was noted with the additional £2,000, however, it was not included in the original motion. So for a point of correcting the minutes, that's the formality, please.
Can we move straight to the vote and then agree with solicitors?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll propose a four. Four is four.
Four, yeah.
Any abstention? Okay, we do that. Then we'll move over to item number 12 on the agenda, that is the civil application. We have to consider the following application. Elfrid Bournemouth DCIT with £100,000 for funding of essential repairs to real cinema in Bournemouth. And give us some.
Sorry, again, just to give a point of note there. So again, it was agreed in previous minutes in the same meeting as the previous one. However, we have placeholder name because the CIC was not fully formed. So it's a point of note just to correct the minutes for audit purposes.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayor, straight to the vote. I think
No, I won't speak if I may. I must point out I've lived in this town 60 years, so I do understand our heritage of film. I really, really do. A lot of you having been live here, when they're actually filming in the streets, Richard knows. So there's an enormous heritage here. But I must quote some of you before, were the custodians of the public purse. This is an enormous amount of money in very difficult times. People are going through hard times. Yes, I am going to turn political and say that winter fuel allowance has been taken away. And if we want to give £100,000 of public money to the real, I'm sorry, I was so wet.
Our council attorney, thanks for adding your voice. From what I gathered,
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand that I understand that the council has already agreed to this in the past. This is just ratification, and I believe we voted for that at the time in the past anyway. But I believe it was a unanimous vote at the time. And not only that, I appreciate the political points you may be saying. I mean, I could pull you up on the 5% increase on pensions, so actually that's a different note of £400 rather than £300. It means that it's millionaires don't get it, which I think is fair for the people. And you're right, this is money for the taxpayers, but this is also putting support into our high street. This is trying to keep our high street alive. To restart a cinema, it's so much more money, and it takes so much more time to be able to re-establish a cinema back on the high street. It gives us 3 more years to have a cinema while the Borough Council works with local businesses and Hertfordshire Council to regenerate the high street and find a new location for a cinema. I think we need to support this. Lots of young families use the cinema, it's a good use of public funds, and it puts money into the high street and tries to keep the high street moving. So I think we should be administrative votes. This is just a marketing exercise. And I don't count any more to it.
Councillor Newman.
Yeah, just to clarify here, all we're doing is a technical exercise because this grant was already approved a number of months ago. Councillor Turner, even your entire group voted in favour of this and spoke in favour of it at the time, actually, I recall. But because the CIC, which is the vehicle through which the works are being undertaken, did not formally exist at the time, the grant was approved in principle. So all we're doing this evening is effectively replacing the placeholder name with the actual name of the CIC. So this is a vote about where the money is going, not whether or not the money will be spent. I think that also echo everything the Councillor Butler said, and let's remember that in those difficult times, the point's being made consistently that actually Bournemouth Cinema is one of the few places that a family who are struggling to make ends meet to have an evening or an afternoon out, day out during the school holidays for a few pounds, which is, it's probably the only means we have in the area where that's possible. So, I do accept everything you say about times being hard and point of view allowance and so on, but I think that you don't address that by taking away and depriving the town of its own cinema. And to be absolutely clear, as you said at the point when this grant was approved, the cinema was weeks away from
Can you wrap up?
closing down.
Can you wrap up, please? Can you please wrap up?
Finished.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. Okay, that's great. Yeah, okay, because
You can hold the meeting for 2 hours. They finish.
They did finish.
He's true. Yes. Yes, I think we need to move forward because it was all about just gratification.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, let's go for a vote. Who all is in favor of? And abstention there, abstention? Then we move forward to Elstree and Doranwood Film and TV, TIC, 20,000 to purchase multimedia booths, display cases and information booths in the foyer of the new cinema. Yes, yes. Yes, please.
I'd like to propose that and say a few words on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I apologise I called the deputy mayor. The deputy clerk is actually the clerk, so I apologise for thinking. I'm going to get used to that. Okay. So I'm speaking to item 12.2 here. In 1968, the action adventure war thriller spy film Where Eagles Dare was filmed at MGM Studios in our town. The iconic production is just one example of our town's incredible film and TV heritage, and also its contemporary industry, and the productions of just a few full councils ago. This administration celebrated when laying out our plans for our culture and creativity strategy for Elstree and Bournemouth over the next 4 years. We, are the Eagles, we dare to lay out an ambitious and exciting plan, not only to transform the cultural aesthetic of where we live, but also the daily reality of everyone who lives and works here. A plan for a young person's hub and music venue, ideas cafes, cultural festivals, more spaces for live arts and performance, potential riverside craft markets at the reservoir, parklets to improve the high street experience, and at its heart, our wonderful film and TV industry. With a permanent heritage centre that Councillor Remark mentioned that they're working towards the Borough Council, the rolling out of a green plaque scheme to mark iconic film sites around our town, the restoration of the hopper bus that takes tourists around historic film locations, statues of famous film stars who performed at Elstree on benches around our town, and the proliferation of public art as a visual expression of our heritage and the effervescence of our current film and TV. Tonight we stand on the cusp of completing the first stage of our plan. Perhaps the most significant part of our vision was the creation of a cultural hub, cinema, theatre, music, arts and drama, and a community space at the Real Cinema on Shelley Road. How do you say to the Real Cinema, as Town Council, working alongside the Borough Council? We now stand just weeks away, as Councillor Newmark said earlier, from the opening of a film and TV heritage exhibition hall in the Real, which is what I'm speaking to now. Over the last few weeks, former Elstree film and TV industry workers have kindly been offering over 50 potential exhibits, memorabilia, from their days on the sets after we've got call-out items. The response has been phenomenal, and that's testament to them and the residents of our town for donating these items for community benefit. In recent weeks, our project group has been in continued discussions with Councillor Newmark, Councillor Smith, CIC, with Real Cinema Management. We've sought advice from the town's museum curator, Dave Armitage, we sought advice from the borough's museum officer, with Stratton. We've met with Elstree Film Studios head Rebecca Hawkes, and we've sought advice from numerous authors on a design that will be fitting to the people of our town. I have some exciting announcements. The first of which is that I'm pleased to say that we've gained the support of one of our town's most talented film producers, Ben Simon, who will be assisting Dan Salter and I in the project group to oversee the exhibition establishment. Secondly, we've secured the participation of Hertfordshire University and Howard Berry's The Elstree Project, who, over the last 14 years, have been documenting all history of our film and TV history, which was initiated alongside Elstree's Green Heritage. The exhibition hall, which will open before the end of this year, if Council approves funding today, will showcase a Made at Elstree exhibition consisting of storyboards and will stretch for the length of the wall entrance as you to the left as well as the cinema. Past the food, drink bar and seating on the large wall on the left, just before you get into the screens, there will be a tall glass cabinet which will host the loan exhibits. And I won't give any surprises away here as to what they're going to be. What I can say is that there will be some much loved items from our town's historic film and TV past, as well as more recent items on display from the current productions that are made at Elstree. And finally, we're going to be implementing an ergonomic isolation booth that will showcase the Elstree project. This immersive experience will feature short documentaries of 2 or 3 minutes. It will carry interviews from local cinema hosts like the late great Paul Welsh, people like Steven Spielberg, and crew members who live locally. It will really bring the exhibition to life. It will also feature an interactive component with TV screens so that residents can choose, or visitors and tourists can choose, what exactly they want to watch in the booth. So just to end, outside Pantone Park, I'm sure many of you have seen the mural there as a tribute to Warrington's death. It reads the film's most iconic phrase, Broadboard calling Danny Boy. Tonight, 2 Dannys, me and Dan Salter, Ben Simon, our clerk, and the project group, and the CIC members, and the Town Council administration are answering that call.
Thanks, Ozara, for well informative information that you can give us. Yeah, let's go for what is being supported. What is being brought to the table.
We're voting for it, yeah?
Yeah, those who are against or abstain, or there are 2 abstentions. Okay, we move on to item number 13 on the agenda is the policies and procedures. How are we having guidelines, policies, and procedures for review in September of this year? So we'll move forward to the outside audits. We receive verbal updates from members serving on outside audits as follows. Members are asked to give their reports to a maximum time of 3 minutes each. It's understood that many of these organizations may not have met since the last council meeting. So we'll begin first with naming incident local. Oh yes, Councilor.
Sorry, I was just going to ask a question, Mr. Chair, because there seems to go in cycles of where it's decided that these will be written reports, and this happened a few times last year. So it goes in cycles, but I think the agreement was unless it was written, it wouldn't go to meeting just to streamline time. But I think because in previous papers, it's been put down as received verbal reports. I understand where this comes from, but I think we do need a decision on whether these are meant to be verbal or written. And I think the decision was taken last time for the council to keep written.
Yeah.
So this, yeah. I understand this was to be changed back. Yeah, that it should go to the vote. But, so as it stands, it should be.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to talk, whether it is verbal or written. Let's go for a vote. Pardon me? Can I say something? Yeah, you can do it. Liberty to speak.
I know we're supposed
Giving you
to.
the authority.
Yeah, thank you. I know we're supposed to have a written report. We're supposed to be distributed by the clerk, much in advance. We read it, then ask questions from it. Yeah, that's supposed to be the procedure.
Yeah.
Agree. But if you don't have it, instead of having just spending off this whole thing and being cleanly, no report at all, they already have some report. We did the report. If there are no meetings, everyone knows. I'm sure. Thank you.
Yes,
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep going over this. I appreciate what you're saying, Father, but we'd already agreed it, so we can't now change it. We said if there's a written report, we can ask questions on the written report. It's not saying written report to move on. If there's no written report to submit, please move on to item number 15, which I'm more interested in issuing public participation. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. It was in the past, it was agreed. So we'll move forward rather than going around, in a circle, bullfish bowl, Yeah. So, Madam Clerk, just note that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me. Sometime.
If you want to speak, please speak to the.
Sorry. I said, just stressing the same point, I will be blank on all these issues. If any of the residents will ask me tomorrow, instead of that, I might have some verbal report. Like, somebody might say, no museum even said, like,
We've already understood everything. I think there's no need for us to go in there. I said the whole page board.
yeah, okay, you're the boss, okay.
Yes, of course I am. Let's come over to item number 15 on the agenda, that is public participation. Question time. We have that.
I do actually have a question. I'll just move over here so I can be seen. It's regarding the real cinema. Looking at the notes, it wasn't clear if they were asking.
Pardon me. Can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor. My name is Timothy Waite. I'm a resident of Thurshill Road in Boreham Wood. Can I ask the question now? So
Please carry on.
Thank you. It wasn't clear whether a grant was given for 100,000 or less the 25k being sought from Hertsmere and the other 18k from Hertsmere. Is it 56,000 that's being offered?
I think Madam Clerk or someone, one of the councilors, that's where you folks who have. Okay, Councilor Newmark.
It's not 7. I wasn't clear.
Yeah, no, the 25k in-kind support from Hertsmere Borough Council has come in the form of professional services from quantity surveyor and a project manager to oversee the project and to validate the costings to ensure that the town council is receiving best value for public money. The Borough Council has also contributed £18,000 of revenue funding to the project, which is also additional. That funding is actually being transferred as a rent rebate for various reasons. In effect, taking £1,000 plus £25,000 of additional value, and the total grant from the town council to the CIC for the project is £100,000.
Thank you, that makes complete sense. Thank you. The other question in relation to it is what guarantees have been obtained that the cinema stays open and for how long?
There is a written memorandum of understanding between Real Cinemas and the CIC, which the Town Council is also a signatory, effectively providing all of those guarantees and confirming that it will operate for a minimum of 3 years, which is effectively time left on the current lease. Just for complete transparency, would say that should the master landlord of the overall property at the point decide to dispose of the asset or do something different, then all the parties have committed that whatever happens, if it's a different location, a cinema will still be provided during that time. So there's no absolute guarantee it will remain in that physical location, but there is a guarantee that there will be a cinema for a minimum of 3 years as a consequence of this expenditure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very appreciated.
so Mr. Wade, because
That answers it completely. Thank you very much.
you're most welcome. And thanks for coming, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, we'll move over to. Okay, we'll come over to agenda number 16. That is the close of the meeting. Okay, and that is about 17 minutes to 9 o'clock.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question, please? So
Okay.
as I know reports, when you do the Real Cinema, will that close the actual museum? Because they're paying a fortune. I sat with 2 years and sympathised with them. They're in a little hall upstairs in the library, paying a fortune. So I understand, therefore, these exhibitions we go to, that the museum could actually move in and be part of the community. Because I was at a meeting today and all I heard was, all you want is to take money, spend money on things, and yet we're paying dustbins for parking and all the rest of it. People are getting a little bit annoyed about all this money. We've got to justify it. If we close the museum and take it there, it'll be something for everybody to go to without having to pay. Because every time you have to pay for something, they say, we put the money in and we're having to pay for it.
Thanks so much. I think this question needs to go over to the committee that is having.
The answer is no, it won't result in the museum being closed. In fact, the museum don't, as you're probably aware, don't have enough space to display
It's terrible.
all of their exhibits. And if the larger Heritage Centre project that we talked about, it will involve the museum and potentially enable some of the items they currently have in storage still on display. So it's a win-win in that regard.
In addition to what I've already been said, Councilor Clancy, I think I would suggest that your query, when I put it in writing, and then we'll refer it to the council. And then we'll look into it.
We just answered it.
Just answer it.
Yeah, I do understand the answer.
You're going to have to pay the rest for the museum as well. You're going to have to continue, according to the council, they have to keep paying the rent. But they won't close it.
Okay.
And that goes to the county, not to the borough, the rent for the museum.
Thanks all of you for coming, and we go to the meeting. I wish you all a safe trip back home. Alpha. Good. Hey. Where you going?